Hey everybody, welcome to the tutorial. And I'm gonna show you the fundamentals in 3D animation. So there's two chapters. Let's get it straightforward. Chapter one is rigging, which is the first part of everything, and then chapter two is basically the animation part, which is much more easier. But in terms of rigging, you have to make sure you pay attention. So first things first, when you open Blender, it will look like this, like it's empty basically. And then I'm gonna link the file of the model in the description. So once you import that, you import the model, right? And then you add the plane by pressing Shift A. You have to make sure you add a floor so you know the reference of the floor of your character. So you press Shift plus A on your keyboard and you go to mesh and then plane. You add that and press S on your keyboard to size it up. Drag your mouse outward to size it up. Now that's gonna be your floor. Now you have your body and your floor. Now we go to the animation tab. This is very important. If the tool is not showing up, you press T to open this up. You press N to open this side up. So later you'll see. So now once we're here, let me just delete this. So you open up this part here. Make sure that your thing is off. This thing, the auto key. Make sure this is off when you're setting up your rig. And then now we can proceed to the rigging phase. So rigging phase is really hard. So make sure you pay attention. Now in rigging phase, we're gonna add a armature. Make sure you press Shift A again, Shift A, and then press armature. Now, since we're doing the fundamentals, we're going to start from the beginning. So we're going to do the simple single bone. Now it will show up here in the middle. Now, if you have basic controls of Blender, you use middle mouse, press and hold middle mouse so you can change your camera view. You hold shift in your keyboard while pressing your middle mouse to pan the camera left and right, up and down. And then lastly, there's the axis where it shows your perspective of where camera is. But you can do a better one by pressing hold alt on your keyboard and then middle mouse you make sure you drag your middle mouse by pressing and holding it and then swipe in either direction. Let's say you want to go to the front, you swipe to the left like this. If you want to look you make your camera view on the top, you swipe down and then you swipe downward upward to go downward. Basically just swipe it. When you swipe it, it goes to that direction. Once again, press and hold alt and then press and hold your, just click and drag your middle mouse button by pressing it. Yeah, that's how you control your camera. Once again, let's start from the beginning. You press and hold mouse to move your camera. Press shift, press and hold shift and then use your middle mouse to drag your screen left and right, up and down like this. And then lastly, press and hold alt to change the perspective in a 2D plane by dragging it. Press and hold alt and drag your middle mouse left and right, up and down. All right, now we got the keybinds done for the camera. Let's go to the keybinds on how you're gonna control undo and do. So if you wanna do undo, wait, let's delete this first. I'ma press del key on your keyboard to delete. Once you delete that, just basically just press Control Z of course to undo. So now you guys know the basic keybinds. Next is the other keybinds that is important. You click the model and you press G. G means grab. G means grab. And then next is once you press G again, you press G. In your keyboard it says Z if you want to go up and down. And then you go Y to go front and back. Press G and then press Y to lock it on the Y axis. And then if you want to lock this to the X axis, you press X. Once again, if you want to drag your character, use G on your keyboard. If you want to lock your character on the axis, you press Z up and down, Y front and back, and then X left and right. Okay, now that we're doing the natural keybinds on how we're going to animate, next is the focus. Focus means when your camera is out of view and try to find where it is, the object you want to find, and you press focus, it will make your camera focus on the object. Right now I have my keybinds in a different button because I'm using a 60% on my keyboard, but in here, let me just go to edit, preferences, and then you go to key map. Oh wait, yeah, key map, key binding, and then try to find where it is. It's somewhere here, right here. You can see the over here frame selected, this one. So on your keyboard, it's default by control numpad, the dot on your numpad. Once you put your keybind here, that will make sure that when you select a object in your input, or what you call the view model, you go here and then it will focus your camera wherever it is. So now that we have everything else done, make sure get experiment on the keybinds you want to be comfortable with. Mostly it's about the 3D view. It's mostly here. You can just get familiarized on the keybinds. Okay, now that we're done with the keybinds and everything, let's go start with the rigging. So now we did add a armature, remember? And then now we're gonna go to edit mode. You can press tab, by the way. If you press your armature and press tab on your keyboard, it will go edit mode. It's much more easier than pressing it right here. So now we're in edit mode. The first thing you're gonna do is set up the middle part of the body. So since we're starting out from bottom to top, we're gonna make sure that the bone is visible always outside of the model. So we go on the side here on the properties. Make sure this is clicked in front always. What it does is it makes the bone visible outside of the model, so that you can basically see your setup of your armature, and then also the names if you don't want to get confused. So now we're gonna try and make sure we put the bone in the correct position. So you press S to size it down. You can just follow along, size it down. All right, now this is the part where it starts. If you want to get a better look, you can go to wireframe mode by pressing this on top. You can move this back and forth by using your scroll wheel. So if you can't see it, just use your scroll wheel and then go to viewport shading. But this is called wireframe if in 3D model. Now we proceed with positioning the lower torso. Make sure it's in the center of your character. Center. And then imagine making a spine. So we're gonna go and build up. Press E on the tip of your bone. That means extrude. Now we're in the middle part of the body. That's the middle part of the torso. Make sure it's like somewhere right here. Much better. Now we do the upper torso. We extrude again. This time make sure it's aligned somewhere in the middle of the neck. Let's say like right here. Okay, now we're gonna name them. Lower torso, middle torso, upper torso. Next, we add the neck. You press E extrude up. The important part of the neck is always make sure you know where it's positioned. So the neck will be right here at the curvature of the head. That's because the part here will make the head rotate up and down, left and right, basically. So now we extrude upward vertically. That's gonna be the head. Okay, now we'll name neck, head. Now the middle part of the body is now done. So next is we add the other side where you're gonna put the limbs now. We're gonna add a new bone by pressing Shift A. You press Shift A while in edit mode. While in edit mode, you press Shift A, it will spawn a new bone basically. Let's scale it down, position it right here. Now we're gonna make sure that the bone is pointing downward because it goes down. So we're gonna press R on on the keyboard. It means rotate. Press R. You can do it like this with dragging your mouse, like this. Yes, you rotate that by pressing R and then move your mouse. Now that we've moved it, we're gonna make sure it's positioned correctly. Now, always remember where the joints are in the body. If you guys know the anatomy of a person, you're gonna make sure you know where it twists. So in my case, I'm gonna put my thing right here, right there. That works. Next is we're gonna make sure I follow along the bottom of the leg. Now we extrude downward by adding a small bone. This is gonna be the middle part where your knees are. Make sure you align them along with your model. Something like that. Make sure it's like somewhere near the knees. It has to be a bit smaller though. Like that. Alright. Make sure it's not. There we go. Okay. Now we add the shin or the lower leg. There we go. Always remember how the body twists, so always know the position of your bones in your model, because that is the most crucial thing in rigging, is the position of your bones. The joints, however, yeah, the joints. These are the joints where the bone twists. You don't have to like pay attention on the shape of the bone on the middle. What you need to focus on is where you place the joints, the circles. So in this case, this is where you're gonna make sure the bone twists right where your ankles are. Basically, that's how a human foot works. Next, we do the foot, extrude outward, like somewhere right here, before the toes. We can align them if you want. Let's align them like this. Just, now that it's aligned. There we go, much better. Next is we focus on the toe. Now we do the toe, basically extrude outward like that. You don't need to like position for now the fingers of the bone. We're gonna make this simple as ever, so you don't need to like worry about it. Okay, hang on, let me just move this a bit backward. Okay, so this is where the toe twists along with your foot. Okay, now we're gonna do naming. Upper leg. So this is the important part when you do directions. So since we're in the left side of the body, we press .L. By left side, I mean if you go to the back side of your model, left side, right side, okay? Remember. So in this case, this is the left leg, we put upper leg .L. You'll see later why I mean you have to put .L, because later we're gonna symmetrize. We're gonna mirror the bones to the other side later. Now we name this middle leg dot L, lower leg dot L. You can name this however you want, as long as you put dot and then the direction of where your part is. You can The names are important always. Next is the foot dot L, toe dot L. Okay, now we connect the upper leg to the torso by pressing Control P. That means parent. Control P. This UI will pop up. Once again, Control P. You press keep offset. Keep offset means it connects the bone without making it connected. This is connect. You'll see a line connecting to it. You can see it. There's a line. But if you do Control P and press connect, it will clamp onto the bone. It will look ugly. So that's the difference. Okay. Always make sure you use keep offset when you connect two bones separately. All right. Now we do the arms. Gonna press Control A, Shift A, Shift A. Let's start from the shoulder. We move it small, rotate. You focus on the bone by pressing the keybind you use on your keyboard, Control numpad dot, or in your any kind of keybind. Always make sure your uh, shoulder bone is leveled to the collarbone or the collar of your model. If you know the basics of anatomy, there's the collarbone of a person, right? Always make sure they're aligned, like somewhere near the neck, like neck to neck, and then collarbone level, side of the neck. Now the position at the end of the shoulder, you're gonna make sure. Wait, we're gonna position this first inside the model. It's a bit tricky. There. We're gonna move it backward by pressing Y. There we go. And then we're gonna make sure the shoulder is aligned near the end of the neck. We move it by pressing G. Something like that. There we go. There. So this is how it should look like. Now the position of your shoulder bone is always make sure that it always ends before the arm is here, like somewhere in the level of the armpit, like that. Because this is where the part where your arm twists, because this is the joint. And then we're gonna name this shoulder dot L. Now we connect this. We connect the shoulder to the upper torso by pressing Control P, keep offset. Now we're gonna extrude along. We're gonna make sure you trace out the body's arm like this. Adding the middle bone, like the leg, and then up to the wrist. Now that we have it aligned, let's go to the top view, and then we align it manually. We're gonna make sure you drag and twist the armature. Make sure it's aligned to the joints correctly. This is the elbow, like this. There we go. Much better. Once again, make sure you align your middle bones on the joints of the twists of your limbs. Now we can name this upper arm dot L. This one on the middle, this small bone, we're gonna name this middle arm dot L. And then this is the lower arm dot L. Next, now we're gonna do the hands. So this is the complicated part because the fingers are essential on this. When it comes to animation as well, it gives more personality. So extrude out. This is the hand. Make sure like they're like the same length of the palm. I guess we can make it like this, or not too long, like this. Name this hand dot L. And now we do the fingers. So here's a shortcut. You press your bone, Shift D, so that means duplicate, Shift D, you can drag it out. It automatically makes you grab it, by the way. When you press Shift D, it will automatically make you grab the bone out and position it. Make sure the joint is positioned where the finger will twist. We gotta make sure everything is aligned up correctly. A finger twists joints has three, so we're gonna do three joints since a human finger does that basically. Okay, now we align them in the model. Take your time, but by the way, you can skip this a bit if you don't wanna, just keep on going. You can just skip it if you want. I'm just aligning this onto the model. Make sure they're aligned correctly. It depends on how you want to rig it. It doesn't have to be perfect as long as it moves, but make sure it's clean. There. There we go. Basically, just imagine the joint of your finger. Look at your finger and just, articulate. Just twist your fingers and see how your joints are in real life, and then reference that to where your joints is in this program, which is right here. This is the joint for the other finger, right here, joint here, and then the joint right here. Now we parent the first bone onto the hand. Keep offset. There we go. Now this part here is parented. Now we can try the same one to the rest of the fingers. The thumbs also has three joints, if you guys don't know. This part and this part and this part. That's how the thumb works. Oh yeah, if you're also trying to rotate your thing, you can make use of this specific tool, transform. It gives you all the orientation, the spinny thingies, the direction, and you can drag this in the middle. Basically, it's a gimbal. You can use it. It gives you more control of how you're gonna, move the bone inside. But I personally just use my mouse button here. So this part here where the thumb moves up and down, if you guys know, if you reference your real life hand, when you move your thingy right here, it twists like somewhere right here, down to your finger over here. Gotta make sure you know anatomy as well when it comes to animation. It's similar to 2D animation. You're gonna know your anatomy and everything. Basically, all principles works the same. So everything is now, these things are now parented to the hand. If you can see the wires of the thing, if you look closely, there's wires connecting to the main part of the hand. That means they're parented. Now we're gonna do naming. So this is the easiest part of naming the fingers. So just name it finger. Now the number, which is number 1, .L, and you just copy it. We'll always start with the index finger. Just keep copying it, and then we name this finger number 2, finger number 3, and so on, basically. $15. All right. See how fast it was? Instead of like naming them index finger 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. This is much more faster. Just name it in numbers. There's no hate to that. Okay, now we've finished the finger bones. This is done. We can now basically mirror this side to the other side. So what you're gonna do is zoom out a bit. And now we make sure you're in this select box. If it's not a box, just press W. It will change in your keyboard. Just press W. Make it a select box, and then you drag your screen like this. Make sure you highlight everything on the right side. Don't click the middle one. Now that everything is highlighted, now we go to armature on the top. It says armature. Make sure you edit mode, armature. And then you can see it says symmetrize. It says enforce symmetry, make copies of the selection of using existing X to other side, basically the other side of the x-axis. Now you can see it says .r. Now it translates to right side. Now that's the important thing about naming when you put it. So .l means left side, .r means right side. Now you can see that everything is balanced now. You can just hide the names if you want, but personally, as a beginner, you don't hide them yet because you're not done yet on rigging. So now we're gonna go out of object mode and go here in the viewport shading thingy. Okay, you're basically done with the bone. It's now shaped like a human. We're gonna parent the model to the bone. The body first, and then you press the bone, and you press Control P. Always make sure you're in object mode. Control P. We're gonna do automatic weights. If you do it like if you want to do it manually, you can go for empty groups, but that's for advanced learners. It will take a while, and if you have a lower end device, it might take a bit, but for me, it's fast. So now everything is now in position. Now, if you wanna, oh wait, I forgot. Let me go edit mode. My hand is not aligned correctly. Uh, there we go. Oh yeah, if you wanna move the other side as well when you're edit mode, you can go this. It's a butterfly effect or mirror effect. You press that. What it does is if you move the other side, it will also move the other side. As long as it says .r and .l, it will always mirror. So let me just fix my hand because I forgot my joint is wrong. Now it should fix both ends. Now we can go back to object mode. All right, where we are. Oh yeah. So now everything is connected correctly. We're gonna go and press and go to post mode. We go post mode, press this. If you want to know the keybind, you press Control Tab. Control Tab. It will go to post mode. Now we're in post mode. Make sure you're pressing this button right here in the tool. This is essential in animation. What you're gonna do is you're gonna test your character. So you're gonna press R, or just mostly press R if you wanna move your character. So if your camera is right here and you press R, it will always move to what you're looking at. Personally, I use the transform tool, just hover my mouse. You can see there's like a white sphere. If you hover it, you drag it, you press and hold the outer sphere that is highlighted. Like this. You can just drag it like this. Yes. You can also use the line, the green and blue or red, if you want. They basically just get used to how you want to animate. So yeah, now that everything is all good, everything is moving correctly. It twists nicely. Look at that. See? It twists nicely. Nice. Now we go test the leg. Let's see if the part here twists correctly. And that's good enough. Yeah, look. That's good enough, yes. Yeah, that's why bone position is important. Make sure you position them correctly, because once you parent them to the mesh by using automatic weights, it will basically automatically calculate where the bones are, and then it will parent the mesh to where it is. Yep, the legs articulation is clean. Yes, it's very clean. There is the knee. Now everything is all good. If you want to reset everything without pressing everything else like control, you press highlight by pressing A. Press A in your keyboard, and then now we're gonna press and hold Alt. Press and hold Alt and press R. That means you're gonna reset the rotation. And then, for example, you move this out like this. So if you wanna reset the position of your character or your bone or object, you're gonna press and hold Alt and then G. That means you're gonna reset the grab. That's how it works. And then let's say you sized it up by accident. You're gonna press and hold Alt and then S. That means you'd reset the scale. So make sure you don't skip the parts where I say the key binds, guys. It's really important. You have to make sure you stick with those key binds when you use Blender in animation. Also remember that, by the way, don't pay attention to the other things here. If you're solely for animation, just pay attention to what key binds I tell you. Don't press anything else. I mean, if you wanna go deeper, just go to YouTube and just do anything. Anyways, now that everything is done, let's test the neck. You can see it moves correctly. Nicely done. For example, if you see that the model is not moving as we want it to, let's say the neck looks like this, it bends incorrectly. We're gonna move on to the next steps, which is polishing, which is weight painting. We're gonna weight paint this and double check each part of the body. Press the bone first, then the mesh, and then you go press weight paint. It goes black, and then since we're in the latest, or I mean upper version of Blender, press and hold Alt, and then press left click to select your desired part. Now you can see the heat signature of the influence of the bone. The more red it is, the more influence of that bone to the mesh. And then the colder it is, the less it moves the bone. You can see that the red part moves better, while the more cooler the color is, the less it moves. So if you wanna fix this, you make sure you control. Make sure you put your weight like somewhere. I just put it max if you want, and then make sure that you scroll right here. But you can hover your mouse, scroll up and down. Make sure you turn off auto normalize, because it will make your thing bad. Like when you brush it off, if you brush your thing, it will have some errors. You can leave this on if you want, but I don't usually use that. Now we gonna fix this, right? So we're gonna go to wireframe. You can go this way if you want. You can just turn this on. It will mirror, basically, so it's much easier if you want. And then we're gonna fix the part where it doesn't really deform correctly. So we're gonna make sure this face is correct. Leave this part untouched because that's connected to the neck. It makes the, stretch more natural looking. If you want to test the rig while in weight paint, you press R, by the way, and then press right click to cancel. Yeah, canceling your movement before the thing, just press right click. It's the same as scaling. Like you accidentally scaled it up with you press right click to cancel the initial action. Okay, now that we think that this deforms correctly, hang on, we have to remove this part here. I pressed the neck one. I'm gonna give the weight slightly bluish. Now let's brush it. Yeah, you can see it's more cooler than what I put in. Wait, let's put more weight. Less weight, more blue. There we go. And then the 0 means you delete the weight, basically. Actually just delete it. It's much easier. Make sure you don't delete the bottom of the chin. Just leave it like this. There we go. I'm selecting neck, by the way. Don't be confused. Okay. Let's test it. There we go. Look at that stretch. It's more natural. It's more natural looking. Much better. Yeah, that looks better, I guess. Alright, anyway. You can also double check the other parts if you want. If it looks like it's not what you want it to be, you're on your own on that one. Now let's proceed to the next part of this tutorial. Let's go back to object mode and this. Alright. Everything is now moving correctly. Now we move on to inverse kinematics. So inverse kinematic means you move one part of the bone, it moves everything. So you press your bone, go to pose mode or control tab. Now we're in pose mode, and then we're gonna go with the legs first. The legs has more control over the arm. So this is gonna be a bit tricky, so pay attention on this part. Now, we're gonna add, we're gonna press the lower leg, go to your tools right here on the right side, bone constraints. Make sure you go to post mode, by the way, it won't show if you're in any other mode. Go bone constraints, and then you add bone constraint, inverse kinematic, it will become orange. Now, before we proceed, we're gonna add more controllers. Controllers are basically how you wanna make the bone move. Controllers are bones as well, so let's go to edit mode. Now, we're gonna focus on this part here between the joints of the foot and the toe. We're gonna go to this side by going to 2D mode and dragging my camera on the right side. And now we extrude somewhere like outward like this. That works. Let's make it like a bit longer so we can see it better. Now, what I'm doing is I'm gonna put rigging for the toe part so that I can twist it without moving everything else. This is important. Now we're gonna name this part as pivot dot L. We're gonna copy the name and go to the other side if it's mirrored as well. Instead of L, you put R. Pivot. Pivot means you basically twist the part by, it's like a wrench. Basically, that's how it's a better understanding. Okay, now we're gonna make sure both bones are not parented to the bone. The opposite of parent is unparent. So basically, instead of pressing control, we're gonna press and hold alt, press and hold alt, and then P. Clear parent. You're gonna clear the parent. That means we can move it away now. Now, once it's disconnected, we're also gonna disconnect the toe. Clear the parent. Okay. Next is we're gonna pivot. We're gonna parent this to this. First, press the pivot first, then the foot. Parent, keep offset, do the other side. I mean, I think it already does the other side since I'm using mirror, if I'm correct. Yeah, it is. So it's mirrored already. So the only thing that is left that is not parented is the toe. The foot is also not being touched by anything. And the pivot is parented to the foot. Don't be confused, guys. Okay? You can rewind on the video so if you want to get a better understanding. Next is now we're going to move on and add the inverse kinematic now. But first we have to get the controller as well for the foot. So we're going to shift D, duplicate. And you can see it's moving right. Press right click. Right click, it goes back to the here. Now make sure you're selecting the duplicate foot. It has a 001 if I'm correct, and press F2 to rename it. Name it ankle IK dot L. Remember, this part is essential. IK, that means inverse kinematic dot L. Naming is important, remember, guys. And then copy, do the other side, find the duplicate bone. If it says there, it says foot.R001, that's a duplicate. We're gonna rename this as well. Ankle IK.R, right side. Alright, now we're gonna extend the length. We go to item, select the ankle IK, and then make the length a bit longer. Not too much. You can press, while you're dragging it, press and hold shift. It makes it smoother. Let's say like this is fine. Yeah, there we go. Now that is settled. Next is we're gonna unparent both ankle IKs and parent this. It should do the same thing on the other side. So yeah, make sure mirror is on. If you don't want to, just turn it off and do it manually. So now everything is settled. Now we can move on to the inverse kinematic properties. We go to object mode, we go back to post mode. Now post mode will show up the orange part where we put the IK. Now we're gonna add the target bone, armature. Always make sure this is the armature, the whole bone itself, and then the bone that we want to use as a controller for the foot is gonna be the ankle. Now we're gonna go ankle ik.l. It goes yellow now. That means it's registering. Now you can see how many bones on top of this. There's two. There's two. So the chain length will be 3 because we're gonna use 3 bones on the leg, right? You can see there's a yellow line. If you press this, it goes all the way. It goes all the way up here. If I put it more, it will go to the torso, which is bad. So chain 3 is better. See, you can see the line going up. Now, once we done that, we can go back to object mode, and then we're gonna put the pole target bone. We go back to edit mode on this. So object mode, edit mode on the bone. If you want better control of your pole target, you highlight the end of the ankle bone. I'm gonna go to 2D space and go to the other side. And now we're gonna make sure it's on, by the way, this mirror. Extrude, press E, press Y to go forward, and then drag it to the left. Like this. This is the best length. Now we're gonna unparent them. Alt P, clear parent. Now we're gonna make sure they move a bit forward. So press G and then press Y to lock it on the Y axis. And then move it a bit, like somewhere like this far. Let's go to the side. Now let's move it a bit like downward, or just press Z. Somewhere like this distance is fine. The reason why is I will show you later. The reason why we're gonna do this. So just follow along. Now we're gonna name this leg ik.l. That means we're gonna use that as a leg pole target. The other side as well, but this is R. And then now we go to object mode. We go back to object mode. We go to post mode. Post mode. Now the pole target, the bone. But first we have to check the target first, which is the armature again. Same as what we did on the foot controller, armature, ankle. Now we're gonna go for the pole target armature and then the leg ik.l. You can see it twists. It's normal. The reason why is because we're using the axles here. We're gonna use the angle there, right here. I mean the pole angle. You can see it moves like this. Make sure it's aligned. You can see this part right here. Wait. There we go. Make sure you align them correctly like this. Like that. But if you want to make sure this is perfectly aligned, you hover it a bit like this. You can see like that. And it says here on the pole target angle 92.2 degrees. That means it's near the 90-degree angle. So what you're gonna do is just right click to don't do it basically. Now we're gonna put this, type 90 degrees. Now it's perfectly aligned. That's how it works. Yeah. Now it's perfectly aligned to here. Now next is we're gonna go edit mode. Edit mode. You can go to edit mode while in post mode by pressing tab. So if you're in post mode, press tab to go edit mode. It's a shortcut. And we click the leg IK and then click the ankle IK. And then you control P, keep offset, basically. Now that the thing is parented, the pole target to the foot, ankle, I mean, we're now going to proceed on making the foot follow the ankle IK's rotation. Because if I go back to post mode, now I try to move the lower torso. As you can see, the inverse kinematic now works. But the thing is, when I move it, the foot doesn't follow. So we're gonna go and click the foot inside the ankle IK, the default foot. We go to bone constraints, and then we add copy rotation. Copy rotation, the target will be the armature itself, the whole thing, the whole bone, and then you click and put ankle ik.l. Now it should also follow. There we go. Now it follows the rotation. Next, now that everything moves, we're gonna make sure the pivot works. As you can see, if I move this, it doesn't move anything. It only moves this, so it's like disconnected. So we're gonna go to edit mode. Make sure you click the ankle IK first. Parent this to the pivot. Keep offset. And now click the pivot and parent it to the toe bone. And keep offset. Make sure the toe bone is clear parent always. Now we go back to post mode. Everything works now. And then if I rotate the pivot, it will pivot the leg. And there we go. Now we're gonna make sure that the leg doesn't go on each direction like this. Like, look at this. I pivot this. You saw the rotation, it's weird. It's because we're gonna add a limitation on the rotation of the shin or the lower leg bone. Go and click the lower leg. Go to this, the bone, and then go scroll down until you see inverse kinematics. You open that, and then you can see there's locks here. Lock Z, and what it does is it locks the rotation that it goes forward and back only. We have to go and parent this to the toe bone instead, actually. There. If it now it should work. There we go. Now it doesn't do that weird rotation. Everything goes well. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna mirror that to the other side. Like everything what we did here, we're gonna mirror that. Let's go to 2D space on the front by pressing and holding Alt, and then turn your camera and make it face the front. And now we're gonna go and highlight the whole leg like this. And then we go to edit mode by pressing tab. While in post mode, press tab, we go to edit mode, press armature, and now we symmetrize. Now we go back to post mode by pressing tab. And there we go. It's now on the other side as well. Let's test the pivot. There we go. It moves correctly now. See? You can see it here. I focus it. Alright. Now, we're done with the legs. We're gonna move to the arms. Go to edit mode. We're gonna do the same setup, but this time it's a different position of the bone. We're gonna click this little joint here. Make sure to actually turn this off for now. Turn off the mirror. We're only gonna work on this side so that we can mirror it later. So we're gonna press E and then press Y to lock it to the front and back axis. Move it out. There we go. Now unparent this by pressing Alt P, and then we're gonna drag it out. Press G and then press Y again to lock it out. And this distance is okay. Actually, give it more. There we go. And then we're gonna name this arm IK.L. Next is we're gonna do the hand. We're gonna go and Shift D to duplicate, and then right click to put it back. Now we're gonna increase the length of the duplicate bone, like slight a bit, like right there. There we go. And then we unparent that, and there we go. Now we're gonna name it wrist IK.L. So that's going to be the controller bone for the arm, and then this is going to be the pole target for the arm. Now we go to post mode. We're going to do add a inverse kinematics, armature, The bone is the wrist, and then pole target armature again, and then the pole target bone, which is the arm ik.l. Now it may look like this is because we forgot to put the chain length. It's 3, 1, 2, 3, because the arm uses 3 bones connecting towards the shoulder. Now it's you saw like it rotates like the one happened to the legs. What you're gonna do is try to see which direction it goes. It goes to positive 100. So we're gonna put 100, and it should align perfectly back into its thing. There we go. Just double check. Yep. Okay. Next, we're gonna try and grab the hand bone, and then we're gonna put a copy rotation, armature, and wrist ik.l. Now it should follow the wrist ik now. Next is we're gonna go to edit mode. We're gonna parent the pole target bone to the wrist ik bone. Wrist ik bone, make sure it's selected correctly, and then Control P, keep offset, and there we go. We go back to post mode, and then you're done. It now moves with the arm. Now we can hide the color green. Actually, later we're gonna hide that. So before we do that, we're gonna do the mirror now. We're gonna mirror this to the other side. But before that, I forgot about that one. We're gonna limit the rotation of the bone so that it doesn't break. Click Z. Now it should only follow back the arms correctly. There we go. Yep, it now rotates correctly. We're gonna highlight that and then reset the rotations. If you, make sure you remember the key binds, guys. All right, now we're gonna copy this to the other side. We're gonna highlight the whole arm, and then we're gonna press armature, and then symmetrize. And then we go to post mode, and there you're done. It's now on the other side. Now everything is now complete. Now we're gonna add the base bone, which it will move everything at this point. We're gonna press Shift A. Wait, no, go Edit, Shift A, and then click the top of this bone, and then press G and Z to move it downward. Lock it to the Z axis, and then lower it down. And there we go. Now we name this F2, name it base, or yeah. And then we're gonna go and click the toe bone and the other toe bone. Next is the upper torso, lower torso, and then we're gonna parent that to the base, and then Control P, keep offset. Now if I move this, it should move everything in post mode. Okay, don't forget the hands as well. We're gonna go back to edit mode. Parent both wrist IKs to the upper torso. Keep offset. And then go back to post mode, and then let's test the base, and it should move everything. There we go. The reason why is this. So the reason why we put this here, because if you unparent these things again, and then I move the base in post, you can see it doesn't follow. So adding these to the base bone will make it so that you can move everything while you're able to animate the legs still. See? All right. Now your rig is practically done now at this point. Make sure everything is correct, test it. Now it moves correctly. There we go. Let's see if it moves right. Let's test the mirror. It should move both ends. There we go. Now let's test the fingers. Let's see if they articulate. Nicely done. See? There we go. It all moves correctly. Now we're gonna go and click all the IK bones and then we're gonna hide them since we don't really need to use them. And also you can also hide these, but if you want you can. But for me, I'm just gonna I hide the inverse kinematic bones, and then also hide the green bones, which are using the rotation of the wrist. Hide the green bones because we don't need to use them anymore. They're just there. Just hide. Press H. You press H to hide. Next is, now that everything is rigged, you're practically done to chapter 1, which is rigging, and now you can proceed to chapter 2, which is animation. So once you're done, in order to set up, make sure you're in animation, by the way, we go and press this auto key, put your start to 0, and then go to keying. Make sure you're in dope sheet, keying, and then I already set this up, but key set and press location and rotation. Now, in order to insert the keyframes for the start of the animation, you press A to select everything, and then press I to insert the keys, the keyframes. So everything is now set up. You can now basically start animating, and basically just do what you do. Basically, that's all. As you can see, you can now move the character as you want. If you want to animate it, you have to make sure you do these. See? It now moves with it. Let's add some frames so that it doesn't look bad. 50 frames under the output, go to 50 frames, and there you go. You can now basically animate however you want with the rig, and the rest is on you now. Basically, just do what you do. Just practice how you want to make it run, make it jump, make them, sit down, make them idle, like standing, and that's it. Good luck on animating and discovering your art style or animation style, basically. If you want to go for the realistic movement, the cartoony and whatnot, the rest is on you now, basically, on this point. All right, that's it. Goodbye.